Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. Live edition, a Tuesday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the great state of Florida, and right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Comfort Temp Heating and Air is your number one local HVAC company. Give them a call. Comfort Temp is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Today's program, we'll have Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show, and we'll have Chris Harry, another senior writer from FloridaGators.com. We'll talk hoops. Gators national champs cranked up yesterday. Basketball practice. You missed it last night. Ravens lose 38-30 to home to the Lions. Very exciting game. And then Bruce Pearl retires. I think he's going to be an ambassador for Auburn or something along those lines. Let's go to the Titan Number hotline courtesy of Comfort Temp, and we are joined by the host of the Buddy Martin Show, Buddy Martin himself. Good morning, Buddy. What's up?
Morning, Shane. How you doing? I noticed you're yawning. You up too late last night, jawing and jacking with a couple of dudes about nothing. And good to have you on. Good show, good discussion, and a lot of it centered around who will be Florida's permanent, quote unquote, for 4 years opponents. And this morning, I'm ambivalent about it because on one hand, it's much easier for Florida, but it's not nearly as good a schedule. But one might say Florida's had the breaks against them on the schedule for a while. They needed it. Not going to have LSU, Shane. LSU is one of those rivalries that probably as good as we got right now. Not going to have Tennessee after 36 years. No Tennessee.
Well, they could still be on their schedule. Maybe
Well,
not every year.
not their permanent though. They're not likely going to be on the schedule. Most likely. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. That's the deal. And I don't know. Tell me, you think it's better or not?
Well, hell yeah, it's better than what we've been playing. I mean, it's already easier. I mean, take nothing away from South Carolina and Kentucky because the SEC is totally different than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. But hell, I'd rather have them than what we've been playing the last 2 years.
It'd be a lot easier for the new coach.
Yeah. I mean, Billy's had some bad luck. There's no question. Before we jump into all that, Ryder Cup starts this week, buddy. I want to get your thoughts.
I'm jacked about it.
But here's where I'm going with this. The European team is playing for free. We are paying, and I don't know who pays it, but each player on the American team gets $500,000. $300,000 goes to their charity of choice, and then $200,000 to themselves. How do you feel about that? When the Europeans said they don't want money, they're playing for free.
I mean, they'll probably win.
Well, their team, in my opinion, is better on paper, but I kind of have a problem with that.
Well, that's up to the individuals. You know, it's going to be I love the Ryder Cup, and I'll be watching as much as I can. I've covered 4 or 5 of them. I really think it's a neat event, and it was never about the money anyway. No matter what you pay, it's about your country. It's like the Olympics of golf in that regard. I love what Europe did with their preparation. Luke Donald, who's real close friends with the captain of the United States, took his team to Bethpage Black. I know that golf course. It's a classic. It's a public course, as you know. And then after it was over for a week, they went to some of the American homes and played on the golf courses in Long Island, and they were like buddies, you know, which I think is great because I need a little bit of that. So the Americans have lost only 4 times at home since the Ryder Cup began in 1927. And Luke Donald had his team wear the salmon cover pullovers as sweaters or vests, a reminder of what that was like that day. And when the Americans went to Muirfield Village to win his first Ryder Cup away from home, with the European team did. Anyway, so Europe's won 3 more times on the U.S. Soil since then. The most recent 13 years ago was known as the Miracle at Medina, which you remember that one quite well. I love this event.
Yeah, I do too. So it'll be a lot of fun, a lot of stuff to watch this weekend. Best weekend in college football as well on Saturday. So we got a lot to talk about. Buddy, before we jump into it, here's Rick from Jupiter on the Titan MR text line. He says, "Hey QB, I noticed in the comments yesterday a lot of mentions of Signetti and Fish as top candidates. What is
Mhm.
your take on those options? I personally rather go for an up and comer rather than any of those two. But what you say? I don't think either one of them are in consideration. Again, I want people to realize I have zero information from anything. This is just my 2 cents. Kurt Signetti, I think, is a really good football coach. He kind of got started late in life getting an opportunity. He's 64. I don't see that happening. Jed
Mhm.
Fish went to school here. He's had, I bet Jed has coached at 50 different
Mhm.
places.
Mhm.
Well, he can't be 50. He's not that old, but at least 35 to 40 different places. So don't see that happening. I think it's probably a two-horse race. Uh, but we'll see when all that, none of that's happened. So we got to wait and see. But I mean, it's the same people. Buddy, would you agree or disagree with this? Lane, Marcus Freeman, Eli Drinkwitz, and Urban.
Pretty good list. I think that's true. I talked to my good friend up in South Bend yesterday who's been covering Notre Dame for a million years. He didn't think Marcus was going to leave. That's his take on it.
Mhm.
He loves Notre Dame. He's not a
I just,
dog, but he loves. I don't know. I guess you say coaches have egos. They're all gonna, want to take the challenge they get. I can do. I can win. That's why people try to follow legends and I never do or succeed. I know that you got your guy picked out, and I don't disagree with it. I don't see Urban coming back, but I'm hearing a lot of reports, accurate ones from people who know money people really well, saying they're not going to give up. They're going to make Urban say no. I'm not sure if that's the right decision for either Florida or Urban, but right now, Gator fans are so hungry, they can't roll the dice on another Group 5 coach. They just can't. I mean, I know it's probably not fair, but that's the way it is. I see it as a high five. It's not Lane or Urban, maybe Drinkwitz. I don't know if they'll accept it because remember, you got to raise the NIL money. Now, I'm told the offer they're going to put on the table to the quote unquote right coach would include a bunch of money for NIL as a
yeah,
guarantee. So
yeah.
that certainly would be a factor, and that would take some of that pressure off. But you know, I just don't know. But I'm not sure that Signetti is going to be it. He 64. Look, I'm an old guy. I get it. I'm rooting for old guys. It's just really past his prime. Although he called a hell of a game last week and put a whooping on Illinois.
He's won everywhere he's been. I mean, but he's only been a head coach for X amount of years. Look, I think Urban would be great. It's just, how long will Urban be here? You'd have to have a plan in place for Urban after 3 years.
Well, it
Who's
would
going to
be
pick
two
up?
years. It would be 2 years. That's what the
Yeah.
deal would
And
be.
then, as you mentioned last night, I think Lane is a slam dunk hire for the University of Florida. However, does Lane want to try to win at a big brand, or does he just want to retire and be comfortable living in Oxford, which I totally get living in Oxford,
Yeah.
Mississippi. It's a great place to live. There's
Yeah.
no pressure there. They're happy with 9 or 10 wins, 8, 9, 10 wins a year. So just depends on what he wants to do.
Right. The other
From
name
a,
on that list, and I don't, yeah, the buyout on Dan Lanning apparently is 20
yeah,
million.
well, he would be.
I know you, but that's
I
the name was being
no,
mentioned.
I love Dan Lanning, but
Yeah.
I think out of that list,
Yeah.
Dan Lanning and Marcus would be crazy because Marcus Freeman has a better chance to get into playoffs every year at
Yeah.
Notre Dame, not being in a conference.
Yeah.
And then Dan Lanning has to do either, I don't even know what their schedule is in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But all you got to deal with is Ohio State and Penn State for the most part, right? You don't have
Right.
to deal with like 10 schools.
Different
So
deal completely. You're right.
yeah. Um, Franklin on YouTube, brought to you by Quad Plum, says, Shane, what do you think of Clark Lee as an option? I think he's a great coach, but he's at Vanderbilt. I don't know why anybody would leave their alma mater. I've never understood that. Vanderbilt has money to keep him.
Especially now. A
And
lot of
here's the
people
other
say, well,
thing
now you
too.
got something going, right?
Yeah, and here's the thing too. At Vanderbilt, there's not a whole lot of pressure there, especially if you're one of theirs. So anyway, there was something on here I wanted to get to real quick.
Other name they mentioned is Lance Leopold from Kansas. I don't think that's not starting well
No,
for him. Yeah,
I think he's done a great job. I don't think he would
yeah.
work here. Barone 71 on YouTube, brought by Claude Plum, says Lago will need to go to Texas Tech, Houston, or Baylor. He's not playing at TAMU or even Texas at the point. He won't play at Texas Tech. They got two studs at quarterback. Um, but he's still
We
a
shipping
quarterback.
Agway off already. I mean, is he
I
gone?
guess I don't know what they're talking about, but
Well, you know what, Shane? There's a lot of reports out there, and you can't believe 90% of them, or even 98% of them. And I don't know what's going to happen. But from a practical standpoint, taking emotion out of it, and I love this kid. I've been on it since day one. His father was sitting in the stands nearby. A friend of mine was nearby, who was extremely upset. His father was all night long. It's something. He's not sure what. Secondly, I don't know what that means. The other thing is that he could take a red shirt now. People say, "Oh, isn't it convenient that he's in a boot again now and he just won't come back? He'd have 3 full years left to go." Yeah, I guess so, and I guess if he's going to go, he's going to go. But boy, that romance broke up quickly, and you got to know he's not pleased with the offense. I don't know. Supposedly he has the ability to check out of plays, but Shane, it's just not working.
no, it's not good at all. Monty from Lynchburg on the Titan MR text line says, "Here's a hypothetical for y'all. Somehow UF beats Texas, Texas A&M, Georgia, Tennessee, and FSU, but loses to Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Kentucky, finishes 6-6. Does Napier keep his job?"
That's the number being pushed around, saying can they somehow find 6 wins?
You got to have more than six to make a bowl, buddy,
I
because one of
get it.
ours doesn't
I get
count.
it. I mean, I'm responding to the guy's question, and I don't see 6 wins. Okay, I don't know if I see 5 wins right now. I mean, they're just not any good. Who have they beaten? Name the team they've beaten and how they beat them. And they just, I don't, right now they can't win halftime, let alone win 6 games.
Dave from Macon says, "If the Rebs don't make the playoffs, do you think Lane is more hireable?" I don't think it has any. Here's what I've said. I don't care who the coach is, buddy. I don't care if the coach plays for the national title. If
Yeah.
that's your guy, and we all know behind the scenes, things are being talked about while they're in the playoffs, right?
Yes.
Regardless of who the coach is.
Yes.
I don't care how long it takes. I don't care about recruiting. This is the most, if we got to go back and say, if there is a coaching change, this will be the most important coaching change that we've had probably since they hired Steve Spurrier.
You said it on my show last night. And I can't disagree with you because I was in all of that at the time when it happened. And it certainly is a huge one. You know, I, I'm concerned about what all you don't know what to believe, and we don't have any information on injuries at all. There's one story, and it was said on another show by a former coach who knows Billy quite well. Matter of factly said on Rob Brown's show, everybody knows Lagway was hurt by overdoing it in the training room and being pushed by a trainer to do more than he could. I don't know that, never heard it. This guy knows Billy and is a coach. Does that concern you? Have you heard that?
No, because I know nothing about it, but listen, we have a great training staff here, just like pretty much everybody in the Southeastern Conference, top notch. Okay. From what I was told, he should have had surgery after the Tulane game, but his people did not want to have it. When I say his people, all the agents, all that crap, right? But then, buddy, you see clips of him in Jacksonville over the summer with the quarterback guru people
Right.
doing crap that he doesn't need to be doing. We none of us know the answers. All I can say is the all season, regardless of your sport, is to get your body ready to play football or play basketball, right? You do everything you can. That I I don't. I mean, and then he hurts his calf. I mean, I'm not sitting here making excuses or picking on him. We could say this could be about another player in Stanford. I don't know. Some people are just injury prone. I think that's another thing. Some people just get hurt.
We've seen that.
I mean, I've said multiple times, and this is not picking on him. I think he's way too big. There's no reason to be 247 pounds. What good's that do you? You can't move. He needs to be 230 at the most. But none of that matters now. It cannot happen. So whether he redshirts, whether he goes in the portal, I can promise you we're going to have a good quarterback if we're looking at next year's team. I can promise you that. There's a ton of them around America, just like there are a ton of great running backs around America. There are a ton of receivers around America. People want to go in the transfer portal. Tons. So it's just not a good situation where we sit at 1-3. There's nothing good going on right now. That's why we're going to talk to Chris Harry about basketball.
Well, Tramel Jones thinks it's good because he may have a chance to start against
Right,
Texas.
but we still got a block for Tramel Jones.
I know.
But I do think Tramel will get the ball out of his hands and know where to go with it.
Shane, I'm just trying to find something. Just
Right.
something to hang your hat on, right?
Yeah. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Bruce Ogre State Farm offers a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. We got Buddy Martin here on the Titan No More hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tim. This is from Alberto in Miami. He says, did you see the drama with Lane's daughter dating the LSU linebacker? Yeah, she dates either Witt or West, one of them. I get them confused.
One of those weeks, guys.
Yeah, they're good little players. Greg from Fort Myers says his list is 1 Kiffin, 2 Kingsbury, and 3 Riley. I don't think you're getting Riley from USC.
No, not that money anyway. And I'm not sure he's the guy. Kingsbury, I don't know.
They're the same guy.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yes. There's a lot of lists out there.
I do think this, buddy. And like I said, I think Lane is a no-brainer, but again, we got to decide, does Lane want to step into this craziness, or does he just want to sit back, make $9-10 million, win 8, 9, 10 games at Ole Miss?
Johnny Balt, yeah.
Great place to live.
Yeah.
But whoever if we do hire somebody, buddy, they better be a damn offensive wizard.
They better be. I watched that Lions game last night and thought, those guys can move the rock, man.
Well, they do have a lot of first-round picks at every skill position.
They got good
ball. Forget,
they got good
Jared Goff might be the most accurate passer in the league outside of Joe Burrow. I mean, Goff is pinpoint accurate. It's crazy how accurate he is.
Yeah. So, Shane, there's a term called reverse engineering, which is to look at solve the problem and come back the other. And I think if you stay with me for 1 second on this, when you go after the coach, do you reverse engineer? Which is to say, you take your guy over here, Lane, but you say, let's put him off to the side. Now, who do we get expecting Lane to turn it down? Who is that guy? Is it Urban? I mean, who is it? Is it Drinkwitz? Who's the guy you really got to have? A can't miss guy. And that's what they have to do it. They have to kind of know, like a well-known athletic director, former athletic director told me a couple of weeks ago, well-known, said, you have to find out if a guy is movable. People think it's easy. It's not. You know, Florida went through this. Every time something happened in Florida, it's always Bobby Stoops. How many times did we hear Bobby Stoops is on the runway headed from Norman to here? Guess what? He never got here. So it's how movable are they? That's where I'm going back to the whole thing with Lane. I don't know if he's movable right now. He is certainly the first choice. There's some people I know who say, let's give Urban the sun and the moon and the stars, whatever he wants, millions of dollars to NIL money, get him here for 2 years and fix this. I don't know if that's a good plan or not.
Speaking of Urban, Johnny in Lake City on the Titan No More Texas says, I just don't feel good about Urban, even though he's won at a high level in Power 4 college football. Kind of feel like he needs to leave well enough alone and stay retired. It's a different landscape now. He had a bad experience in Jacksonville, and I don't want to see him tarnish his legacy further coming back to Florida, even though I'd love if he did. The only thing
that's a fair comment. It's a very fair comment.
The only thing about Urban, and I don't know if we talked about it last night or I was talking to some other guys about it. Urban did a lot of that mental stuff with the kids, because of
Psychology.
his
Yeah. That was his,
psychiatry or whatever.
yeah. Yeah. He
They
did.
did all those damn mat drills where they fought, wrestle, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna be able to do that in today's world.
Yeah.
Kids will just say to hell with it. I ain't do. I mean, that's the only thing, But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. But Shane, isn't it interesting now? All the urban haters out there. We don't want that guy. He's a cheater. He's cheated on us. Blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden now they're wanting. All of a sudden now he looks pretty attractive. I've seen more comments about I want Urban, I won't sell for anybody less, and that. He's okay. Finally, he's fine. So Gator fans are so fickle in that regard, and they have shown little regard for his two national championships. Many of them do. Many of them do not. And the people who have been dumping on Urban for all these years, good luck now. So let's see what happens. You're begging him to come back and coach.
Yeah, John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Laws. I think they should give Ball the ball more. Yes, but the problem is we have trouble blocking up front, and then we're behind the chains, and you have to throw it. So, uh, if we could complete some passes and get first downs, yeah, give him the ball a lot. This text says it's
40
Todd
times,
Monken.
Shane. He's carried the ball 40 times.
Yeah,
Probably,
we're not on the field very much, buddy.
I get it, but I'm just saying, at
Here's the
20,
other thing too, though.
to finish the thought, 20 times he had no blocking, okay?
Yeah, and then when we do run him a lot, then I mean, this is human nature. It doesn't matter what team you're rooting for. When you're not getting a lot of rushing yards, regardless if Herschel Walker were given the ball to, people are going to say, why are we not throwing the ball? Right? It's
Because you
damn if
can't
you
run the
do,
ball.
damn
You
if you
can't,
don't.
no play action can't work if you can't run the ball.
This text is Todd Monken, a name Florida should look at. No, he ain't leaving the NFL. This is from Brandon and Pontevedra. I've missed it. I may have missed it, but what are your thoughts on our three permanent games and losing Tennessee game? Look, it sucks to lose Tennessee, but I can tell you right now, if we do have another coach or if Billy's our coach next year, the schedule will be a hell of a lot easier.
South Carolina, Kentucky, I think so.
Yeah.
And look at the comparison. I mean, South Carolina's not that good a football team. Everybody thought they were going to be. They got problems there. And there's a lot of people think that maybe their coach might go to Virginia Tech. We'll see.
All right, real quick, buddy, before we continue the discussion here. This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Puts a star power to work in your financial life. At Campus USA Credit Union, we're a proud member, Steve Spurrier Banks. I didn't realize they used to play the British Open this late in the year, buddy. Back in 1868, the British Open at Prestwick, Tom Marsh Jr. beats his dad, Tom Marsh Sr., by 3
Old
strokes.
Tom Marsh.
At 17 years old, he remains the youngest Open champion.
Yeah, that's a good story. Well, I guess I didn't cover that one, Shane. I know what you're thinking. I wasn't that one, but yeah, no, it's got some great history. How do you like the rotation now? The way it winds up, you like the way they place the tournaments and how they're different, and you think it's better to have the major. I always liked having the PGA in this time of year, but
Well, no, the PGA would have been I think it used to be played in August, right?
yeah, I was riding the week before our tournament at the International in out in Colorado when I was working for them.
Yeah.
And that was when they announced their captain's picks on years of the Ryder Cup. I don't know if I like it better. I kind of hate to see golf go away so quickly. Now there's no golf chain after this.
Well, that's true. They had a tournament last week that I wasn't even, or two
I
weeks
didn't even
ago.
know they had it. Didn't even
Yeah,
know
it
they had
was
it.
great. Scotty came from behind to win it.
Yeah.
This gentleman, Kevin, on the Titan Our text line says, let's start a hire Kerwin campaign. As much as I love Kerwin, that ain't going to happen.
Why isn't anybody talking to Kerwin? You know him well.
But I talk to him once a week.
Yeah, but
He's 1-3 right now. He got his quarterback back, and they scored 50 last week and won. But I would have no problem with Kerwin coming here, but people will be raising hell, and it ain't going to happen.
don't. Yeah, I think you're right. And it's a romantic thought. Look, I do like the idea of hiring a Gator or somebody with Gator ties. And I go Coach Spurrier does too. It does matter. I love Thomas Hoff's comment about. I know there was an inane question about considering leaving, Did he consider going someplace else? And he said, no, he wants to be a Gator. Well, okay. I love that response. I'm sorry. I love the people who want to be Gators. And I'm tired of guys who don't want to coach the Gators. I think we got to get more Gators involved when we can. And Kerwin certainly has that profile, but he's not going to get the job. And I'm afraid we're going to go for that fix it all with money scene and try to get it fixed and be brokenhearted again. If you keep going for that kind of guy, you're going to wind up bereft. And right now, I think there's a lot of nervous people. There's a lot of people with big checkbooks who are ready to put the money down and say, go get a guy. It's going to be a fascinating next couple of
So,
years.
buddy, let me ask you this. If you were one of those big money guys and you could write a check and they said, Buddy Martin, and this is not like, do we think this guy will leave or do family life, he loves it at this place, Nike money, let's take it all out. If everybody was just wide open and said, whoever brings us the check, I'm going to be the next Gator coach, who would Buddy Martin write that check to?
I don't want it for Urban, although I think it'd be good for Florida because he's the best guy we got. Your guy at Ole Miss would be it. I mean, I think he's the man. Again, I don't think he's movable, as my athletic director friend said. We'll see about that. That leaves us with Drinkwitz, probably. I am not a huge Drinkwitz fan personally, but I do think he's smart, and I love one thing he did. He gave up play calling 2 years ago for the betterment of the team. That tells me he understands it. It's a full-time job, according to what Urban told me last week. Play calling is a full-time job. A lot of guys are getting it.
Some people can do it, some people can't.
Very few can do it anymore as head coaches.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I guess I'm a Drinkwitz is what I'm going to wind up with. I never thought I'd say that.
Well, Doring's very close to him, and Doring says that we would all love him.
Yeah, I hear good things.
He says he's got a lot of aura in him, right?
He does.
He's
I have
very
Doring.
cocky.
I got Doring on tomorrow night. I'll ask him.
Yeah, I asked him what he thinks. He'll tell you he loves Eli.
Yeah.
We
all love Eli.
Who you got on the show tonight, buddy?
It's Lauren Meadows' time tonight, and then he will gather his troops around. They had a really great show last week on the analysis situation. Lauren will be the captain of that ship. He and Rob Brown will take it. Don't forget tonight. While I'm there, let me just be sure and remind folks, GatorBait is a place to be to get the inside information you need. Go to GatorBaitMedia.com. Check out some of the fine writing we have there, including Fans Beard and many others. And you'll be glad you did. GatorBaitMedia.com.
Greg says on here, Facebook Live, YouTube brought to you by Quality Plum. Four head coaches later, and it's still Urban's fault.
That's true.
Think about it, if they did bring him back, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, it really would be. And I wouldn't rule anything out. Like I'm telling you, there's some really determined people with big checkbooks who want to make that happen.
Yeah. Bobby says on Facebook Live, most of these coaching options are represented by Jimmy Sexton.
That's true.
Yeah, there's already talking going on, but trust me.
Oh, believe there's deals being cut really right behind us right now. I mean, they're being theoretical deals cut everywhere. The Strickland's got 5-6 names in his pocket right now.
Or more. Who knows?
Or more. That's right.
All right, buddy. We'll see you next week, buddy. Have a good week.
All right, Shane, thanks for hanging on for a long show last night. Appreciate it very much. And have a good week. It's open date week. It can't get you better than this.
That's right. We ain't going to lose.
All right.
This Buddy Martin join us on the Titan Tomorrow hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Quick timeout. Come back. We'll be joined by Chris Harris from FloridaGators.com. We're going to flip the page and talk about something positive, the mighty Gator basketball team. You're listening to PodUp Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless, mimosas, and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
I'm tired of you living in
naysayers, setbacks, injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. The Pouncey twins provide all of Gator Nation with the highest quality liqueurs made by J.F. Hayden Craft Liqueurs. Find your favorite flavors at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We're now going to go to the Titan More hotline and talk to the senior writer who has a more enjoyable job than the senior writer we had yesterday on the program from FloridaGators.com, Chris Harry. Good morning, Chris. How you doing, bud?
Shane, how are you today?
I'm good. We're gonna flip the switch. I told Gator Nation we're gonna have something good to talk about. But guess who's listening to the program on YouTube?
I
Well,
couldn't
there's
even
millions of people,
ascertain.
but here's a comment.
Obviously.
Here's a comment from Joey Freshwater.
Who?
Joey Freshwater, who says Jimmy
Joey
Sexton.
Freshwater.
You don't know who Joey Freshwater is?
No.
He coaches in Oxford.
Okay.
It says Jimmy Sexton is going to make sure the next UF coach is the highest paid coach in the league. I would probably say that's probably true.
Highest paid coach in the league. Okay, then.
Who is the highest paid coach right now?
Kirby?
It's got to be Kirby, right?
I would think, yeah. Yeah. You're talking the oblong ball. I thought we
I
were
know. Okay, let's
headed in a
switch
different direction.
All right, we'll go to a bounce pass here.
Yeah.
All right, they started practice. Well, first of all, I want to get your thoughts on the Bruce Pearl thing. Did you have did anybody know anything about this?
We just seen those his social media speculation coming from himself about career in politics. Obviously, he's been very active, especially since the October 7th attack on Israel in 2023, I guess. So he's been very vocal about that. I think this is starting to become a trend when a coach is entrenched pretty well and he realizes he wants to get out. He waits until the last minute so he can kind of dictate terms of his successor. And it's been speculated all along that he really wanted Stephen, his son, to take over Auburn when he did leave. So that obviously did happen. Stephen Pearl has never coached a game, but obviously he's very well respected. I know Todd Golden loves him. They're very, very good friends from the times that they played together in Israel. They played together in Australia. They've remained best friends regardless of the rivalry that's kind of punched up. Todd's done very well against Auburn, obviously, the last few years. And obviously they've remained very good friends, but from their time together, even on the Auburn staff. So it's kind of like what Tony Bennett did in October last year, and he was able to elevate Ron Sanchez to a position of head coach. I'm not saying that's what the circumstances are, but that's a way to get this done. And I'm kind of surprised he's leaving. I mean, he's 65 years old. You would think Bruce Pearl has a lot of coaching left to do, but obviously he has a plan for himself. in his post career. Maybe it's to do something. He was fantastic on television, just
Yeah.
a great studio guy. So maybe that's where he's headed. Who knows? But good luck to him. And he helped send Todd Golden to Gator Nation.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
in a way, Gator Nation owes Bruce Pearl a debt of gratitude.
Very true. All right. So we started practice, and obviously they've been practicing all summer, but it's
Right.
official now. Just give us your overall thoughts of what you have seen so far.
Like I like to say, this time last year, in the months, in the summer months of 2024, it was the best team I'd seen in 10 years, and it was obvious. A lot of those same guys are back. There isn't a front court. There's another front court in the country that can touch this team, in my opinion, obviously. So you're talking about bringing all four of those rotational guys back: Condon, Chinyelu, Thomas Houck, and Micah Hanlogton, who looks like a different player now, a year removed from sitting out or whatever. The question is it's going to be chemistry and how you develop and how you roll in these guards, because the greatest team in Florida basketball history, right, Shane? You said that. You made the call in December, right? They're
Well, I
better
said
than the
they were
back-to-backs. Better than
I
the
said they
back-to-back.
had a chance to be.
You said they were better than the back-to-backs. Okay, so you're losing three. What is 58% of the scoring? You're losing go-to bucket getters. You're losing elite defensive stoppers. Will Richard. I mean, everyone knows he may have been underrated nationally, but he was certainly not underappreciated by the people that follow that basketball team and know what he brought to this team leadership-wise, and how much better he got on defense and the clutch ability to hit three-point shots at big time. So, you got Boogie Flan and you got Xavier Lee coming in to take those guard spots. One of the things that's not very talked about very often, Thomas. It's assumed Thomas. It's been known Thomas Houck is going to move over to the three position. What I like to say is, like, now you got. It's not just last year, Todd. It was since Todd's been here. He wants to play two bigs. And last year with the fourth best offensive rebounding team in the country, you had those two guys on the floor at all times, at least two of those guys. Now you got three. And Thomas is that third guy with the added responsibility of he's got to make plays on offense. He's really good in the middle of the floor when he gets in there. He's got to hit threes. And freshman year, he hit 25%. Last year, he hit 34%, just about 2% behind Will Richard. He's in the gym all the time. I've seen him in scrimmages. He's making shots. We saw what he did in the tournament run last year. He's very capable of playing that three position. It's probably his natural spot as far as where he'll play at the next level. It's exciting time. It's just you got to see how roles define after those first six players, and I count Micah as the sixth. Who's going to be the seventh guy? I think it's Urban Klavzar is going to be the seventh guy. He needs to be better than he was last year, and he will be. But after that, Todd plays about 8, 9. I say 8.5 is what I usually say, because there's some ninth guy who's going to try to probably be a 6 to 8 minute guy. Who's that guy going to be? We're gonna have to find out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I think this team, on paper, they look deep, but you're not going to play everybody. When you have to replace the scores, like you said, so there's a lot of pressure on Boogie Flan. Tell us a little bit about Boogie Flan. You and I've talked, just talking basketball. How good of a shooter is he? Because he just when I try to go back to when he played at Arkansas, and he only played a little bit because he was hurt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he's that driving guy that's going to take it to the rack. But then we're going to have open guys at the 3-point line. Is he going to be a guy that will dish it out there, or is he going to be a guy that likes to take it to the rack?
He averaged five assists a game. There ain't a player at Florida that's averaged 5 assists a game since Andrew Nemhard was here.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Lee averaged over 5 assists a game. So now you got two of those guys. Now Boogie Flan he didn't shoot the ball great last year. I think he was 33% from three. He's a better shooter than that. He's making threes. He's making long threes in practice. He's got to show he can do it consistently. But he also he was top 10 in the country, Shane. And again, he did only play, I think, 15, 18 games, something like that last year because of that injury. He was second in the SEC in assist to turnover ratio. So he takes care of the ball. Like Walter wasn't great assist to turnover ratio. He just made every important shot during the whole season, and there's something to be said for that. But Boogie Flan is a true combo guard with excellent passing skills and vision, that kind of thing. And Xavier Lee is very similar to that. Xavier Lee didn't have a whole lot of. I think he averaged less than one catch and shoot three at Princeton. That's because there's nobody around him. He was given the ball and had to go get stuff on his own. That's not going to be the case here. There will be some of that, especially late clock situations. He'll be their guy with the ball in his hands, sort of like Walt would have been for the Gators the last couple of years. But with the way they play inside and out, side to side, he's going to have some open shots, and he's got to show an ability to knock those down, and he has in the past. He just hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities to do it as a really good player in the Ivy League.
Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Chris, how long will it take Todd to determine his rotation, and how deep do you think they'll go on the bench with all the talent?
It usually takes him right around the time where the SEC season starts. He'll feel things out that way. The person who's going to get the first chance, and they want him to take advantage of it in terms of someone who can spell Thomas at that backup 3 spot. They want it to be Isaiah Brown. They want him to be a program guy. He's been here. He was here last year. He was a great teammate last year. He has to be a little more consistent on his day-to-day approach. He's in competition also with his brother, AJ, who came from Ohio U. And he's got some nice numbers as an offensive player there, but he had shoulder surgery at the end of last season. It was just 2.5 weeks ago that he was clear for contact. So he's behind. So that's a position battle to watch there. And I already mentioned the first guard off the bench is going to be Urban Klavzar, who's this time last year had been on campus for probably a month, maybe 6 weeks. Was just coming off. He'd come over from overseas from Slovenia, and he wasn't eligible yet, and did not find out he was eligible until December. And that weighed on him, I think. And I think it stunted his development a little bit, maybe some confidence issues with that. He had some really good moments, brief moments during the middle of the SEC season. He didn't play the last 3 NCAA tournament games. So they're going to need him a lot more. He's going to be more, instead of a 8-minute guy, I think you're looking at an 18-minute guy from Urban Klavzar. At least he's going to be going to get the first opportunity to be that guy off the bench.
Where do you see CJ Ingram?
CJ Ingram is a really, really good athlete. He needs to figure out what he's doing every day. Like, he needs to know where to be on the floor. He's not a great shooter right now. Remember, this guy was a high major quarterback prospect at Hawthorne. And so he just started concentrating strictly on basketball within the last couple years. I would say between the 2 freshmen, he and Alex Lloyd, who's the point guard, I see a combo guard out of Miami. Alex is ahead of him right now, just to calling it like it is. So they play different positions. Lloyd can play on the ball for sure, and he may get that opportunity, certainly. CJ Ingram has an opportunity in that mix on that wing position, but again, he's got to figure some stuff out. And that's okay, because he has a really, really high ceiling. He's just a little bit of a ways from touching that high ceiling right now.
Brian on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law. Chris, what is your opinion on this take? I think Thomas Houck will be our top offensive threat next year, and he will win the SEC MVP.
That's a leap. But
Yeah.
I mean, I do my preseason primer. You can go to FloridaGators.com and surf my name, and I think he's the best player on the team. And you can make a case Kondo is, you can make a case Boogie Flan is, you can make a case for several players on the team. But I think, Thomas with a chance to play 32 minutes a game, I think he was around 25 last year, maybe a little less. He's really, really going to flourish on this team. And I mentioned CJ Ingram's high ceiling. Thomas Houck has already started punching at that ceiling, and he's a really, really good player. And there isn't anybody who works harder. And a lot of good things can happen for that young man. And he loves the Gators, by the way.
Florida Cracker is the brand for original Floridians, great food and southern hospitality in the center of the University of Brooksville, Florida, floridacracker.com. A few more minutes with Chris Harry, senior writer for FloridaGators.com. Let's talk about the schedule. I don't have it in front of me, but it just seemed like we kept adding this team, and I I just remember we're not playing a lot of cupcakes.
No.
It should be a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, the cupcakes, believe it or not, unfortunately, are the home games, with the possible exception of FSU, which should be an interesting team this year with a new coach for the first time since 2003, I guess. Um, but out of the box, you're playing Arizona and Las Vegas to open the season. You get Florida State a week later here. They're playing Miami and Jacksonville. It's probably gonna be it's the same day. It sucks. It's the same day as a Jags game, and it's in that
Wow.
veterans. So they're gonna have to play it late on a Sunday night. So 8:30, something like that. But Miami is undergone obviously transition where they got Jay Lucas is now their coach, who played point guard here a few years ago. People might remember, but he was an assistant for Duke. And then they're out in San Diego for Thanksgiving in a tournament with TCU, Providence, and Wisconsin. Then you turn
Ooh.
around 4 days later and you go to Cameron Indoor to play Duke for the first time since I believe it was 1998. Then you got a week to kind of settle yourself before you go to New York and you play UConn in a game which will basically be a road game up there. So then you have a game down at Sunrise, and that kind of against GW, which is your annual drive down the Turnpike, or semi-annual now, biannual actually. And you kind of coast after that into the SEC, which is going to be another juggernaut this year. And the best SEC matchups last year on paper going in the year were all road games. This year, they're all home games, and they're all Saturday, probably, or one of them has already been moved. The Alabama game has been moved to a Sunday. Gators haven't played on Sunday, and I believe since 2012 in an SEC game. So they moved that to a national TV kind of thing the week between the conference championship games and the Super Bowl, to kind of spread things out and kind of give those two teams a platform. So really, really high end schedule, but it was last year, and the Gators won 36 games.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. No
Yeah,
question about it.
yeah.
When do like the preseason SEC picks come out? Like they have like a SEC media
You
day for
They
basketball?
have SEC media days, middle of October.
Okay.
That's
Is
when
Gators
that, and
gonna
then
be picked to win it, you think?
I would think either Florida or Kentucky will be picked to win the league. I mean, just looking. I mean, there's just a lot of uncertainty. I think at some other teams. I think Arkansas is going to be good. I think obviously, Nate Oates is going to have a good team, of course.
Yeah.
It's but you gotta look at a team that's returning so much with such an elite front court, and the potential of that backcourt. I would think Florida is going to be. They have a chance to be the preseason number one team. Although I'm hearing it's going to be Purdue, but I would think easily top five preseason AP, and then if not, picked to win the SEC second place. I would think.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. I thought I heard the other day, I don't know where I was listening. Purdue will have their starting five will have all been at Purdue all 5 years or all 4 years.
I saw that too, and I saw this list of potential top 30 teams or something, and looking at everyone has like two or three transfers in the starting lineup, and it's Purdue is what Purdue.
Yeah.
That's impressive. That's a credit to Matt Painter, obviously.
Yeah, there's no question about that. JB on Facebook Live brought to you by Mel Law says, any chance for Micah to start over Condon or Chinyalu? And will Olivier get any minutes in trash time this year?
Micah, I mean, I tell you what, Ruben has looked fantastic. He has upgraded his offensive game. He's got a 3-point shot now.
Well, please
Condon's
don't
3-point.
shoot it. Please don't
Well,
shoot it.
if he's open, he's going to shoot. He's not going to shoot it a lot, but if he's open, they're going to let him shoot it, because he does all the other stuff that you got to green light the guy sometimes for stuff like that. Same with Condon, whose 3-point shot has been really, really good so far in these scrimmages that I've seen all summer since he got back. But Micah's fine where he is. He's going to play starter minutes. And I tell you, he's up to 260, and he was 270, 275. He was too big, and he really went to work conditioningly wise. And he looks like an NBA player right now. And his ability to grab an offensive rebound and instantly find guys on kick out 3-point opportunities really showed up in the postseason last year. Gators don't. I don't think they win the national championship last year without him, given the circumstances they were going with and dealing with those the injuries to the front court when he decided to forego his redshirt year.
All right, last thing before we get you out of here, y'all had a basketball reunion this
Mhm.
past weekend, which
Mhm.
I think I heard was the first time they've ever done anything like that.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
pictures
Mhm.
were cool. I mean,
Mhm.
Lon Kruger's
Mhm.
Final Four team was there. Obviously,
Mhm.
the Vernon Maxwell being reinstated. Just give me your thoughts on how all that went.
Mad Max. I mean, he looks like he go get 14-4 right
I
now. I mean,
agree.
He's 60. His waist is like a 31-inch waist, and I tell you what, he was he was very very appreciative of this. He brought his mom, who's 82 years old. Her mom is Grace, to the event Friday night. There were several hundred people there. Bill Cost put this thing together, and Todd has said a couple times he spoke that night at the thing. He goes, you got to give Bill Cost credit for putting it. He goes, and he wasn't taking no for an answer. It was happening, and Prime and Pearl catered it. And it was a really, really nice event. Patrick Young was a keynote speaker. They had people there from teams dating back to the early 60s, rather. There was one guy there, I think there was someone there was 85 or 86 years old, a player on who's a teammate of Bill Costas back there. So those guys, Lon Kruger came, like you said. I saw Stacy Poole, I hadn't seen forever.
Wow.
Yeah, he was there. He's a little bigger. He's a little bigger. Some of these guys are. Andrew DeClerc was there. Craig Brown was there. But above all else, Vernon Maxwell was there, and he's now restored back in the program. And did you know he's there with Andrew Moten? Moten something was going on. He got there late. He lives out in the Panhandle or whatever. Moten and Maxwell are the number one scoring backcourt in the history of the Southeastern Conference. How about that?
And so now they're definitely number one, right? Because
Yeah.
did they count it before they reinstated Vernon?
Florida didn't.
Oh, okay.
Nationally, you could find Maxwell stats. You look at the SEC, still had it, but it was Florida that took Vernon's stats away, and Florida has now restored Vernon's stats, so he's now the number one scorer. 2,400 points. Only Allen Houston and Pistol Pete Maravich scored more in Southeastern Conference history.
So Vernon's last year was what, 85?
87, 88.
Oh, so right when I came in, Vernon was leaving.
That's right. The first year you were here, Florida won the SEC regular season for the first time, the year after Maxwell left.
Yeah, after he left. But was there a 3-point line when he played?
The 3-point line came in 85, 86. So he saw it for 2 years.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. Now,
or 3 years, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good that they did that. And obviously, I mean, shoot, he's the best player we've ever had, right? And
well, I mean, certainly the best. I mean, I think the first great player that actually went on to some notoriety, and so however you want to say it in the NBA.
Do you think
he had several bouts of notoriety, I guess, whatever.
Will they bring him back for one of the home games?
They will. They
Okay.
will. They started, I think Duke Warner started this distinguished Letterman honoring a player with each home game, and Vernon will get his wave to the crowd this year, and it'll be a long time to come. I tell you, he said this is something I never ever thought would happen, and I think a lot of Gator fans would probably agree with that.
When you just brought up the distinguished Letterman deal, because that's kind of what they do for doctors and people for like the Hall of Fame. Is Vernon in the Hall of Fame?
No, I don't
Okay,
think so.
well, I think he needs to be in the Hall of Fame now.
Well, I don't, now.
Do I need to start plugging that since
he was a two-time first-team All SEC
Well, I mean,
player.
it's a no freaking brainer.
Correct, but I guess if his name ever came up in this little committee, this little fiefdom that they have that runs the Hall of Fame or whatever, I'm sure he got shot down immediately because of baggage. Now we're doing everything we can to release him of that baggage.
Yeah, well, they need to. I'm trying to think when that ballot thing comes out, but I will. I'm gonna bring it.
Are you on that?
No, I'm a Hall.
I know you're in. I know
I'm
you're
not.
in.
I don't want to be. I've never wanted to be in the committee.
Go over your resume with me, okay? So, but
I don't. I could probably be on that committee, but I don't want to be on that committee.
Correct.
Maybe get on the committee.
Correct.
Because there's some football players that ain't in that should be in. But
I agree with you there.
Yeah. Chris, good stuff. People go to Gators, FloridaGators.com. Got some good stuff here, I'm sure. Follow you on Twitter at Gators Chris, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Got a story about Micah Hanlogton's plight coming up this week, hopefully. So,
All right. Appreciate your time, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
see you, man.
That's Chris Harry. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. When Urban wanted to introduce his high-quality tequila to the Gator Nation, he made sure to get it to the HBC and his team at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Dorn's Liquors. Go beyond with smooth Los Linderos tequila. Again, thanks to Buddy Martin and Chris Harry for joining us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.